Namaste. Thank you very much for being with us. So these
Pleasure.
are the final conclusive sessions we have now. We have now 3 days left. So 3, 4 days left. So these are the conclusive sessions. So I
Beautiful.
expected you to be here, right?
Definitely.
So we'll
Definitely.
have the benefit of your presence. See, your presence itself makes difference, right? So see, I will never introduce Anand sir to you, but Anand sir is that Raj Yogi who can cohesively combine Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga to bring the discernment to the people, right? So he's working on that. I've seen no one is working in this manner. No one is working in the world, but Anand sir is working to execute cohesively execute Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga together to facilitate people to have proper discernment to live in this samsara. See, yoga is not to live the samsara.
Ah,
Yoga is to live in samsara and execute your duties and
beautiful.
with kushalta, means with skillfully living, right? So he believes in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Ved Gyan, and he is a darshanik also, right? And we have very much similarities in between us, right? My Gurudev and his Gurudev, they were they existed same time. My Gurudev and his Gurudev was director of Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. He is born in 72. I am also born in 72. His mother's name is Minakshi Devi. My mother name is Minakshi Devi. Uh, I have a yes. We have daughters born in same year. We share moon sign together. He's also Rishabh Rashi. I am also Rishabh Rashi. So we have. Uh, he's a very good batsman, and I was a opening fast bowler for Gujarat team. Right, Gujarat under 19 team. I was opening fast bowler. So we share many things together. Yes, I used to swing the ball, and he he used to uh, give the shot. Right, right. So this is what, and we studied in Kevaladam in our 17s, 16, 17s, right? So we share many things together, but the main thing we share is we try to combine Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga to bring proper discernment in life of the people, right? So that the people who live in samsara can also benefit with yoga, right? See, otherwise people who are inclined to Hatha Yoga never reach to Raj Yoga, and they forget that the goal of Hatha Yoga is to reach to Raj Yoga, right? But we are trying hard to bring it together, cohesive execution of Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga in our life to have proper discernment. So I will ask Dr. Sir to enlighten us with this aspect of yoga, where there is a union of outside in projection and inside out projection of life. Right? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Over
you.
to you.
Thank you so much, Ji. Acharya Ji. Your love empowers me always because it's a pure love that comes from yoga. योग का प्रेम तो always बिल्कुल divine है. The topic that I wanted to share today for a short while is this connection between Raj Yoga and Hatha Yoga. A few clarifications are important because the term Raj Yoga for many became synonymous with Ashtanga Yoga because of Swami Vivekananda. So we need to understand a little bit of history, that when Swami Vivekananda went to USA and the word became popular, he started giving all these discourses. Now I must remind you, Swami Vivekananda never wrote a single book himself. He used to give the talk. His students will transcribe the talk and make a book. So whatever we are reading as the teachings of Swami Vivekananda are not directly written by Swami Vivekananda, but are written by his students based on what they heard Swami Vivekananda say. So there's a big difference. And this is why when I write an article or somebody writes an article based on what I say, there's a big difference. So I'm just giving you this context because today we see, oh, this book by Swami Vivekananda, Raja Yoga Sutras. Now, the Raja Yoga Sutra, he used this term. So people said Ashtanga Yoga is Raj Yoga. But if you look at the concept of real concept of Raj Yoga and Hatha Yoga, we need to go back to the Hatha Pradipika of Swatmarama. Around the 15th century, they put the date. I always say, whatever date they are saying today, you add at least 500 years to it, because they have tried to demean Indian time frame. They couldn't understand, because for them, everything started 7,000 years ago. The whole universe was created 7,000 years ago. So if you say 7,000 years ago, we had Rama and Krishna and all, it doesn't fit their frame. So when they came, they said, oh, it cannot be, it has to be 2,000 years. Vedas have to be 3,000 years ago. They try to demean everything. So whenever we are using these dates given by Western academic scholars, they are not yogis. They are Western academic scholars. Please take that date, add 500 years to it. Many of them want to put Patanjali after, Christ. They want to put it as 200 Christian era, what we used to call AD. They call Christian era now, after Christ. They wanted 200, 500 after Christ. The total nonsense. So we have to always add at least 500 years. For example, they will say Yoga Vashishta. And they will say Yoga Vashishta is about 2000 years old. Now we know very well that Krishna existed 5,000 years ago, because from the time of Krishna, we are calculating our Indian calendar. Kali Yuga, 5,000 years plus from the time of Krishna and Mahabharata. Some people say when Mahabharata started is start of Kali Yuga. Some people say when Krishna left the body is Kali Yuga. Both are similar, not a big difference. Okay, say 50 years, 100 years difference, that's all. 5,000 plus years of Kali Yuga. So 5,000 years ago is Krishna. So when you say Bhagavad Gita, Indian culture says it's 5,000 years old. They try to say it is 2,000 years old. Similarly, they say Yoga Vashishta 2,000 years. Now Rama comes before Krishna. So that is why a minimum of 6,000, 7,000 years ago is what we are talking of Yoga Vashishta. And at least 5,000 years minimum of Bhagavad Gita, and at least 3,000 years of Maharishi Patanjali's teachings. Now in the written down form, this may have come later, because they don't understand. Hamara parampara hai, not a likita parampara, it was never. It was a karna parampara. It was from the mouth of the guru to the ear of the student, who then passed through their mouth to the ear of the next student. This is how the tradition was an oral, O-R-A-L, and A-U-R-A-L. Oral means to hear, oral means to say. That is our tradition. So though they say Hatha Pradipika is about 15th century, anything from about 10th century onwards, we should be alert that these teachings were going around. And again, Swatmarama Suri didn't create Hatha Yoga. This is another thing to keep in mind, because in modern times, people are stuck with Hatha Pradipika. Some people call it Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Whether 4 chapters or 5 chapters or even 6 chapters, it is each. You leave that. That's not our thing. There are multiple perspectives. But we are locked with Garanda Samhita, Shiva Samhita, Hatha Ratnavali, and Hatha Pradipika or Hatha Yoga Pradipika. We are limited to these scriptures. But it doesn't mean Hatha Yoga is limited to this. Hatha Yoga is huge, of which some class notes are these. So our scriptures are like class notes. Now from the morning, you would have done many things. In your diary, you will put 2 lines. I had a good day. Today was a horrible day. Today was the best day of my life. Today was the worst day of my life. Ek do line to likhite, bas. But how much happened in 24 hours? Only that 2 lines happened in 24 hours. No, much more. So what is written is less than 5% of what is the actual knowledge. And what is written itself is so big. So when we look at the Hatha Pradipika, we realize very clearly, Swadharama makes a statement. He says there is no Hatha Yoga without Raja Yoga. There is no Raja Yoga without Hatha Yoga. Both are essential for the success in each other. This is a very important statement. It is found in the second chapter where he talks about Shatkarma and Pranayama. And he is talking about Kumbhaka as the means to attain success in Raja Yoga. Now, Kumbhaka technically is Hatha Yoga, but Kevala Kumbhaka is the link to Raja Yoga. See, this is where the ordinary Kumbhaka becomes Hatha Yoga, Kevala Kumbhaka becomes Raja Yoga. And Maharishi Patanjali's definition of pranayama, tasmin sati shwasa prashwasayor gati vicheda pranayama. Pranayama is not breathing exercise. Patanjali doesn't say it's breathing exercise. Only the modern idiots will say it is breathing exercise. Huh? What nonsense it is. To go beyond the breath is pranayama, according to Patanjali, ultimately. That is the state of Kevala Kumbhaka, spontaneous cessation of respiration. You don't need to breathe anymore. You have overcome Abhinivesha Klesha. You are now free. Abhinivesha Klesha se mukt ho gaya. You are not bound by the mortality. You have gone from Mrityarma to Amritangamaya. You are not limited by the fear of dying anymore. You have become Mrityunjaya. That is the state we are talking about. So when we are looking at this, how we can look at it in correlation is that when we talk of Hatha Yoga, again in modern times, we have to be very careful because in modern times, there was a movie called Modern Times by Charlie Chaplin. Very funny movie, actually. He did it long back in black and white days. He called it Modern Times, and he would go in that roller coaster within the big machine. Today, like that only we are going. That is Chitta Vritti. We are caught in that, like Charlie Chaplin was caught in that. That is actually what it is. But in modern times, we have limited Hatha Yoga to physical exercise. We have forgotten what is Vyayama and what is Hatha Yoga. We have become very, very confused. Somebody jumps up and down, we say he's practicing Hatha Yoga. Somebody stands on the head for 1 hour, we say he's a great Maha Hatha Yogi. We have forgotten what is Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga, it is the balanced state. Hatha Yoga is not doing. Hatha Yoga is already a state of balance. Ha and Ta. Again, a very big issue. When yoga went abroad and came back, it became Hatha Yoga. What is this Hatha? I don't know. Hatha. That Hatha becomes Hat. Hatha Yoga, Hat Yoga. If you are Bengali, it becomes Hot Yoga. That is why Bikram, when he went to America, he was teaching yoga. They said, what yoga you teach? Hot yoga. They said, oh, hot. Room ko hot kar do. So it became Hot Yoga. Hot Yoga came from Hatha Yoga becoming Hot Yoga because of Bengali pronunciation. This is how this happens. Ha and Ta. So what is Ha? Ha is the sun. Ha, 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 ha. This is the Nabi. It is the solar plexus. It is the energy of the Surya Mandala, the sun center. Ha, dynamic center. It is energizing center, activational center. In modern terminology, sympathetic nervous system. This is the modern sympathetic nervous system. Ha! That is why when you are stressed, this becomes weak. If this is strong, you can withstand any stressor, and distress will become eustress. Distress is suffering, disease. Eustress is health and wellness and thriving. Same tension. One person will become duck out, one will become century. What is the difference? How they handle the stress. Same India-Pakistan cricket match, one batsman will become duck out, another will hit century, and Virat Kohli will hit that super sixer that he hit. Why? He has learned to handle stress. When you have learned to handle stress by strengthening the solar plexus. So the Ha is the solar plexus, the energy of the solar plexus, the Surya Mandala. It is the place where the sound starts, Nad. That is why Nada Anusandhana is an important part of yoga. Again, people have reduced yoga to physical exercise. So some doing 25 asana, 2 pranayama and 1 relaxation, you become yoga teacher. Again, total nonsense. Whole life, you are a student. Compared to 20 years ago, today I'm a little better. But still, compared to what I can be in 20 years, I'm still a beginner. We are constantly evolving, constantly learning. Learners mindset hona chahiye. Students mindset hona chahiye. Childlike hona chahiye. Enthusiasm. What will be next? What is the deeper aspect of sadhan? We have to be constantly striving. So that ha is related to that energy of the sun, Surya Mandala. The ta is related to the Chandra Mandala. Chandra Mandala, which is your brain, your cerebral cortex and the nervous system with all the fluid inside. When we talk about the moon, we are talking of fluidity. We are talking of cool. Inside the brain, there is the cerebrospinal fluid that is affected by the moon. Well, whether it is Amavasya, Purnima, it will be impacted. The fluid movement throughout the nervous system, in and around the brain, the ventricles, and coming down and up your spinal cord. That is the cerebrospinal fluid. This is the moon. That is why it is the lunar. Lunar means moon, lunar cycle. 28 days cycle, feminine cycle is again lunar cycle, 28 days. That is why women are very intuitive. They can understand through intuition. Men, we don't have that intuition. We have to develop intuition. Women are naturally having intuition. We are having more instinct. We are more in the ha. And that ha is very strong in male. We are always in that ha more. Always we have to do something. We have to achieve something. Women are always more balanced. It is that ta. Now you don't want only this or only that. See, this is the thing, that yoga is balance. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So you want balance, you want equilibrium between the ha and the ta. And always remember, it is ha followed by ta, not ta followed by ha. It is hatha yoga, not taha yoga. Ajkal, even that they will create one new taha yoga if given a chance. Ajkal to bahut popular hai yin yoga, Y-I-N. Because what they are saying is yoga has become like exercise. So now you need to have relaxation yoga, yin yoga. इसका क्या मतलब है? पहले तो उसको बर्बाद करो, उसके बाद you put one plaster of Paris on it by saying yin yoga. Yoga is ha and ta. It is balance already. But they only were doing ha, 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 ha. They forgot the ta component. So they were push, 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 push. Only sympathetic. Burnout हो गया. अभी बोलते वो क्या हो गया? योगा करने से burnout हो गया. योगा करने से कैसा burnout हो सकता? That means it's not yoga. It means it's imbalanced. If it is imbalanced, it's not yoga. So that is why we have to always remember, you have to first activate. इसलिए पहले हमारा साधन में what do? We do practices to activate first. Then we do practices to deactivate. So पहला activation करना, then उसके बाद deactivation करना, balance हो जाएगा. First activation followed by deactivation. इसका और एक example है. You take your car. You want to take your car out of your garage into the main road. First, what do you have to press? Accelerator को press करना चाहिए. So that गाड़ी तो it should go forward. उसके बाद क्या करना चाहिए? सिर्फ accelerator दबाने से क्या हो जाएगा? Your पड़ोसी का घर पे car will go and have accident. That's not what you want to do. So first accelerator को दबाना चाहिए. You take the car out. उसके बाद brake को लगाना चाहिए. So पहले accelerator, उसके बाद brake. And the balance between accelerator and brake will help you drive safely. Driving में accelerator, brake. Similarly, yoga में ha and ta. Abhyasa and Vairagya, says Maharishi Patanjali. He doesn't say Vairagya followed by Abhyasa. He says Abhyasa followed by Vairagya. Uspe bhi ha ta hai. Activation, deactivation hai. That ultimate gives that chitta vritti nirodha in the mind. So when we look at ha and ta, we are looking at that balance. What is the balance between the activation energy of the sun and the deactivation of the moon? The heating energy, Ushna, the Ushna, which is the heating energy of the sun, and Shita, which is the cooling. Shitoshna, says Lord Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, finding balance between the heating and the cooling. Not just temperature within us, our metabolic activity, the anabolic activity, the catabolic activity, the activity of the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, all of this balance we are looking in Hatha Yoga. So normally when we talk of Hatha Yoga, we can equate Hatha Yoga with the Bahiranga of Maharishi Patanjali. This is one way we can find a parallel between Maharishi Patanjali's teachings, which are of Ashtanga Yoga, not the modern Ashtanga, which is not Ashtanga at all, which is again more Ati Yoga, Ati Yoga in excess that they call. You are looking at a balance between Maharishi Patanjali and the teachings of the Hatha Yoga, which is coming from Nath Sampradaya. The Natha yogis of the north, in south we call them Siddha yogis. The Natha tradition, the Ayurveda tradition, Siddha tradition, and the Siddha Vaidya tradition. Parallels. And people like Agastya Muni, Rishi Agastya, he links both. He links them very well. So coming back, when we talk about this, the Bahiranga of yoga, the Yama Niyama, Asana Pranayama Pratyahara is normally how it is explained. So we have Yama Niyama, Asana Pranayama Pratyahara as the Bahiranga sadhana. Then Dharana Dhyana Samadhi as Antaranga sadhana. This is the classical definition, and we find that the components, the way it is brought into our sadhana pada, sadhana pada ends with the Pratyahara and Vibhuti pada starts with the Antaranga sadhana. So this natural division. This Bahiranga sadhana can be equated with the Hatha Yoga and the Antaranga sadhana with the Raja Yoga. This is another approach that we can understand. So the Bahiranga is feeding the Antaranga and the Antaranga is feeding the Bahiranga. How you try to follow Yama Niyama will be very different. Once you start to come into that state of dhyana, the way you follow Yama Niyama will be very different. The way you do asana will be different once you start to come into that state of dhyana. So this is feeding. The asana will give you the balance, the focus, the capacity, the endurance, the resilience to strengthen the capacity to focus and move from Kshipta Vikshipta into that Ekagrata that is required for the dharana. So the practice of the Bahiranga is feeding the Antaranga, and as you go into the Antaranga, it will enhance the practice of the Bahiranga. That is why Swadharama says, no success in Hatha Yoga without Raja Yoga, no success in Raja Yoga without Hatha Yoga, because they are feeding each other, they are supporting each other. Now in this, my beloved father and Guru, Swami Geetananda Giri, he gave a slight difference of opinion to most people. What he said is, he said even Pratyahara starts to become Antaranga. Because he said, you see, Pratyahara, we think Pratyahara is sensory control. So there are many people who say, you close your eyes, you are in Pratyahara. Closing eyes is not Pratyahara. Pratyahara is closing the mind to the eyes. It is shutting the door from inside, not shutting the door outside. And I was in one yoga session in London for one yoga festival 5-6 years ago. And one person got up in the thing and we said, okay, let us go. We have time. Hamara session khatam ho gaya. Or kya karna? We'll go to the next session. So we went. And this person was talking and we said, okay, fine. And he says, now everybody close your eyes. Everybody closed. He says, now you are in Pratyahara. I'm like, if it was so easy, why Maharishi Patanjali will give so much of detail about Pratyahara? Why Lord Krishna will say it is so difficult to control the mind and go beyond the senses? How that Indriya Jaya, how difficult it will be. If it is so easy, close your ears, put your fingers in your ears, close your eyes and put cotton in your nose and you are in Pratyahara. It is not so easy. Because Pratyahara is the refinement of the senses. Your senses are the best. Your eyes are the best. Your ears are the best. Your nose is the best. Your tongue is the best. Your skin is the best. All the jnanendriyas have been refined. And then uska main plug ko off karna. Main plug kya hai? Manas. Ekendriya. That mana indriya, some people call it. The Ekendriya, that super sense. What you do is just like you have the best computer and you pull the plug. You have the best sensory apparatus and then you just pull the plug. That plug is the mind. Withdrawal of the mind from the senses is Pratyahara. So, bahut ispe kya hai? Bahut internal ka activity hai. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. It is not an external activity that closing my eyes, closing my ears and nose will make me have Pratyahara. I have to close my mind from within. And that is why my father used to say that Pratyahara is now the bridge. And so often when I tell people, I say, when we talk of Bahiranga, we can say Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, plus or minus Pratyahara. And when we talk about Antaranga, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, plus or minus Pratyahara. Because that link of Pratyahara is very important between the Bahiranga and the Antaranga. And that is why, in order to link Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga, Nada Anusandhana is very useful. Because Nada is the link between that which is expressed and that which is not expressed. What is expressed? Ahata. What is not expressed? Anahata. And that is why just making the sound is not Nada Yoga. Many people think just making a sound is Nada Yoga. No. Making the sound is the external component. It is the Ahata Nada. Making the sound, when you do Brahmari and you go, or you do the Akara Nada, Ah, or the Ukara, Oo, the Makara, Omkara, Ah, or the Omkara Nada, Om, with the tapering. When you do this, you are making the sound. It is Ahata Nada. But at the end of it, you move from Ahata to Anahata Nada. This is the journey from the material to the subtle, from the stula to the sukshma, and beyond the sukshma, you can go to the karana, which is the seat of the Anahata Nada. And in this, you are moving from Hatha to Raja. In this, you are moving from Bahiranga to Antaranga. And that is why the process where this link occurs, and again, Swatmarama, he talks about Hatha and Raja. In the case of Kumbhaka, when he is talking about the movement of the energy in the Sushumna, again, the context has to be understood. Now, a non-yogi will not understand it. All these translators, they were linguistic expert. They were not yoga expert. They were linguistic expert. They didn't understand why he is talking about this in this point. Because the key is the movement of the energy along the Sushumna Nadi. The central channel, you want that energy to move. For that energy to move, you have to find that state of balance. When you are in right nostril dominant, Surya Nadi, it is not going to happen. When you are in Chandra Nadi, it's not going to happen. It is in that state of balance between Surya and Chandra, which is Sushumna Nadi. That is the Sushumna Swara. This is where Swara Yoga comes in. Just see the connections, how beautifully our rishis have given. Through the Swara Yoga, through the Nada Anusandhana, and through Laya Yoga Sadhana. The Laya Yoga sadhana, where the combination of nada, using the bijaksharas, the bija mantras are used, the breath is used, the mind focus is used, the body stability is used. And at that time, the energy flows into what is called that Unmani Avastha. That is what is the goal here. And that is why we should not negate. Oh, I'm practicing Raja Yoga, I don't need Hatha Yoga. Oh, I'm practicing Hatha Yoga, I don't need Raja Yoga. Many people think like that. We need both. It is like saying, my left brain is enough. Left brain is enough to make money, but not to enjoy life. Right brain is good to enjoy life, but you may not have money if you don't have left brain. दोनों होना चाहिए. Left brain भी होना चाहिए, right brain भी होना चाहिए. उसके अंदर एक balance भी होना चाहिए. And that is why when we want to understand these concepts, we need to understand from living tradition. This is why I am coming and supporting my dear Acharya Birju Maharaj, because he is continuing that living tradition. That is very important. आजकल क्या हो गया, सब तो इंटरनेट गुरु हो गया, सब किताब गुरु हो गया. People have forgotten the necessity of the living tradition of yoga, where we are connecting with our Guru Parampara, who is all the way connecting back to the rishis, the great rishis who are the source of these teachings. This is what I wanted to share with you today. And sorry for being a bit late. Just as I came, I had some guests who have come to felicitate on the recent awards. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Ananda ji.